Your job is to become yourself. I was reminded of that today when I looked at a Wilhelm message that came through several years ago. And that is the goal of each of us because that is our authentic self, why we were born. But it's also something we can think of when Carl Jung talked about the self. And it became this idea, especially in Jungian psychiatry, where you have this integration of your subconscious, your conscious, what you all of that when you can integrate it and become aligned with who you are. And that's not always easy. It certainly wasn't for me because you have to look at yourself and you're always comparing yourself to someone else. And there's no one like you. You were born to be this very unique person. But because we also think that we must fit in at times, then becoming that self will cause us to retreat or hide out or be in fear. And I lived so much of that, so I do understand. And then sometimes you'll take those steps to becoming that self, and then you stop yourself because, wait a minute, what are people going to think? What am I doing? Why am I doing that? Why am I stepping out? And so then it might become easier just to stay hidden. I did that for a lot of times as well. So I do understand it. Then you can live at a time as we're living in now, where we're having a lot of energetic movement happen in our world, and so it's going to be affecting you in some way. And then, as we're in this energetic time, because we're always changing, the world is always changing, and then it's like, okay, now I've got to take that next step into a higher state of understanding who I am and acceptance. Again, every step is going to be a little challenging. And you could have had many times recently where you just felt like you wanted to give up, like this is just not worth it. Or you're looking at the world and questioning, why does it look like this? What's going on? Again, it's all energy. But we will each interpret that differently because you have your own journey that you are living, that you're moving through. It will be composed of everything you've lived, your family, where you've come from, that lineage that you have that's within you. And so even within that, you may find that your family doesn't even know who you are because you have an independent soul. And that's when it can sometimes become challenging. But the fact is, you deserve to become your authentic self. There was another message, and I'll say because some of them become so uncomfortable because we have to look at ourselves. That's that shadow work again that we all have to do. And there was one message I remember so vividly, and I also saw proof of this because when you see people on their deathbed and they're starting to talk about, well, what did they regret? It's really usually nothing about what they the things they didn't own. It's not about that. It's just that they didn't trust themselves enough to do what they really wanted to do, that they couldn't get to that place. And that was the other thing that Wilhelm gave us years ago, said that you will move through your life attempting to be all manner of things or someone else, only to come to the end of your life to discover that all you were attempting to do is become yourself. And that one I do know. Because when you can make that step and own who you are, you have this sense of peace that will come over. Because the other times you might be continually afraid or running or whatever it might be. But it's a process. It's a process we all move through just in different ways. It's self-actualization, personal development, self-improvement. Some people think of it that way, but Wilhelm says no. There's no self-improvement because there was nothing wrong with you. So there was nothing to improve. There was only something to develop. And that is all the work that I was given. And as you look at the messages for the 27th, for May 27th, you'll see what I mean. It's always this um, development, and it happens over time. So you can't judge yourself that you haven't gotten there because you're never done. There's always going to be more. But when those times where we find ourselves in these difficult, challenging situations, then we start to judge ourselves, and that's not going to be helpful. It zaps your energy. And so then you have to decide, am I going to take that next step into joy, into love, into whatever it is that would give you a sense of who you are? And it always is moving through all the old stuff, which we are doing in our lives now, but we're also doing that in the world. And if more of us do that, we'll have these really great lives. And that's why I'm doing this presentation tomorrow. And I hope you show up because I want to lay out everything that I was given from Wilhelm. I want you to understand it and what can happen because we can create much better lives in the world if we use the information that has come from others who have lived and given this guidance. That's really what it is. And so I hope you can be there. Please register. Again, I'm going to send the replay to everyone because I really want you to have this information. I know a lot of people are busy and have things to do, and the timing might not be right, but I do want you to have this information because it could really potentially change your life. Just something that will spark within you that will open up a new awareness that can set you off in an entirely new direction. And that would be the best thing that could ever happen for me. Thank you for being here. The links are in the description of the video. See you soon.